Poor boy. Rich girl, does status matter in a relationship? Chapter 1. A Meeting of Two Worlds. Artem was used to a simple life. He worked as a waiter in a small restaurant, saving money for his dream, his own coffee shop. Meanwhile, Eva was the daughter of a wealthy businessman, accustomed to luxury and a life without financial worries. They met by chance. Eva, running late for a business meeting, accidentally bumped into Artem outside the restaurant. Her coffee spilled on her expensive dress, and she angrily turned to him. "Watch where you're going. Maybe if you weren't walking with your nose up, this wouldn't have happened," Artem replied with a smirk. Eva was shocked. No one had ever spoken to her that way before. Instead of apologizing, he walked away, leaving her standing in disbelief. Chapter 2. Unexpected Encounters. Fate had other plans for them. That evening, Eva came to the same restaurant with her friends, unaware that Artem worked there. "Oh, it's you," she said coldly when he came to take their order. "Yes, and I'll try not to spill anything this time," he replied with a grin. As the evening went on, Eva noticed how attentively Artem treated the customers, how sincerely he smiled at an elderly couple celebrating their anniversary. He wasn't just a waiter, he had charisma, determination, and warmth. Chapter 3. The First Sparks. Eva started visiting the restaurant more often. At first, she told herself it was because of the great food, but deep down, she knew she was drawn to Artem. One evening, after the restaurant closed, she waited for him outside. "Do you always work this late?" she asked. "Dreams don't pay for themselves," he shrugged. "What's your dream?" "My own coffee shop, a place where people feel at home." Eva admired his ambition. Unlike the men from her circle, who had everything handed to them, Artem fought for his future. Chapter 4. Love Against the Odds. Their feelings grew stronger, but not everyone was happy about their relationship. Eva's father, Oleg Andreyevich, was furious. "He has nothing to offer you," he shouted. "He has everything that matters," Eva responded firmly. Her friends, too, warned her. "He won't fit into our world." "Maybe I don't want to be part of that world anymore," she replied. But their biggest test was yet to come. Chapter 5. The First Separation. Under pressure from her family, Eva left for Paris for an internship. Distance tested their relationship. Artem worked harder than ever, hoping to surprise her with his progress. When she returned 6 months later, she found a different Artem, more confident, stronger. He had rented a small space for his coffee shop, thanks to his hard work and savings. "You did it," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "I told you I would," he smiled, but doubt still lingered. Could love truly bridge the gap between their worlds? Chapter 6. New Challenges and Doubts. A year had passed since Artem opened his coffee shop, and Eva started working at a design agency. They were happy together, but challenges were just beginning. Big coffee chains started opening near Artem's shop, stealing customers. Expenses exceeded income, and he was on the verge of shutting down. Eva saw how exhausted he was and offered to help financially, but he refused. "I need to do this on my own. I don't want you to think I'm with you for money." But she couldn't just stand by. She used her contacts in the design world and social media to promote the cafe. She organized collaborations with influencers, and soon the cafe became the talk of the town. Chapter 7. The Return of Eva's Father. One day, Eva's father walked into the cafe. He observed how Artem worked, how warmly he greeted customers, and how his team functioned together. "I want to talk," he said when Artem approached his table. They sat down, and Oleg Andreyevich spoke. "I was wrong about you. You didn't use my daughter, and you didn't give up when things got tough. You built something from nothing." Artem listened, unsure of where this was going. "I want to offer you a partnership. I can invest in your business and help you expand." Artem hesitated. It was a huge opportunity, but he feared becoming dependent on Eva's father. "I appreciate your offer," he said, "but I need time to think." Chapter 8. A Marriage Proposal. While considering the offer, Artem had another idea: proposing to Eva. He planned a special evening at the restaurant where they first met. This time, he rented the entire place. When Eva arrived, the restaurant was decorated with candles and flowers. "What's going on?" she asked. Artem took her hand, knelt down, and said, "From the moment I met you, I knew you were special. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I want to spend it with you. Will you marry me?" Tears of joy filled Eva's eyes. "Yes," she exclaimed, hugging him tightly. Chapter 9. In the face of judgment, after their engagement, Eva felt the pressure from her family. Her mother, who had always tried to protect her daughter from mistakes, could not understand her choice. She continued warning Eva about Artem, emphasizing that their worlds were different and that he could never be her equal. "You need to think, Eva. Are you ready for what will be difficult? And can you build a life with someone who doesn't have what you possess?" her mother said, looking at her with sadness. But Eva was determined. "I deserve true love, Mom, and I'm not afraid of the challenges that may come our way. For the first time, I feel like myself." Her words didn't calm her mother, but Eva remained stubborn. Artem was not without his doubts either. His friends constantly reminded him of the difference in their social statuses, even though he didn't admit it openly. They joked that he would never be on equal footing in a world where her father owned an entire empire. "You won't impress them, Artem. They will always look down on you," one of his friends said. But he simply replied, "Maybe I won't, but I know one thing for sure. I want to be with Eva, and that's all that matters." Chapter 10. Shared Dreams. Once they started their journey together in business, it became clear that each of them brought a piece of their dream and energy into the relationship. Eva began working on her design studio, filling it with light and creativity. Artem, although he had a business in the cafe industry, grew more interested in fashion and design, and his support allowed Eva to achieve what she had long dreamed of. They often discussed ideas together, helping each other become better. They created new concepts for Artem's cafe together, and Eva kept expanding the horizons of her business. However, business was not only a joyful adventure, but also a serious test for their relationship. The first year was very difficult as work required all their attention, and at times conflicts arose due to tension and differing views on the business. But they learned to work together and find compromises. When Artem's father offered him to become a partner and open new cafes, Artem agreed, but on the condition that he would maintain full control over the business. It was important for him to have his freedom in decision-making, and despite this step taking them to a new level, he understood that without Eva's support, he wouldn't have achieved such success. Chapter 11. A Wedding That Surprised Everyone. Their wedding was modest but beautiful. They chose a location in nature, without much luxury, because what mattered most to them was being together and celebrating their love with their closest people. The ceremony included only close relatives and a few friends, but this simplicity only highlighted the authenticity of their feelings. Eva's parents were still somewhat nervous, but their support was palpable. When Eva's father approached Artem, his words made the young man's heart beat faster. Now I know my daughter made the right choice. For Artem, this was a moment when he felt his efforts and love had been acknowledged. He shook hands with his father-in-law and looked at Eva, who was smiling at him over his shoulder. Chapter 12. True Values. Years later, their family became an example of how what matters isn't money, but the genuine support of one another. After having children, they appreciated the simple moments in life even more. Walks with their children, evenings at family dinners, and moments when they could just sit together and talk. But it was hard to forget what they had been through. They had experienced both ups and downs, but they understood that the most important thing wasn't status, but mutual trust and support. And their love only grew stronger, even when new difficulties arose around them. The end.